the artworks that I work with are more based with paintings, mosaics, and drawings. I preferably like to use oil on canvas or oil on board, whichever surface it is, as long as it can hold the oil and it's durable. Mosaics, I like to create contemporary mosaics, but much more bridging the gap between the culture of mosaic and painting. How traditionally mosaic has been seen as a very ancient art form, and how it can be pushed in terms of itself with mixing other elements that are non-mosaic as known by the traditional aspect of it. And then I like to work with charcoal and paper. I like to draw a lot. Yeah, so those are the mediums that I preferably work with. I like to dive through into the subconscious of humankind, mainly Africans. I always feel like there's a spiritual element in which creates our identity, and I always feel that one, as an artist, I feel my responsibility is to talk about the various aspects in which Africans mingle with each other, treat each other, and survival as well, and not sort of like and sort of like encourage the idea of speaking our own narratives from us first and foremost, and not have foreign people from outside Africa speak our narratives and stories. You know, like that's the point where my work is about. My work is more personal. Sometimes it can be more personal from how I respond to what's around me, and sometimes it's personal towards how I view people and historical things that have happened to people, and how people sort of like relate to culture, tradition, but just sort of like creating an awareness within the art, you know, like just creating a very, I wouldn't say complex, but another spiritual element of consciousness within the book. I think as a child it was much more like, the more I started learning art and sort of like meeting other artists and stuff, then my knowledge of art started changing, and I started looking at other things that those great artists didn't do, and I started looking at other artists who came after them, who brought different skill sets that were different from those artists that I considered as masters. And I think the more I started digging into that world, the more I started realizing that there's other levels of inspiration, I think. And I think in regards to inspiration currently, I think my inspiration right now is much more Africa, tradition. I think I wouldn't say identity, because I think Africans already have an identity. I think it's much more like inspiration in how we conduct ourselves. We know what Africa is all about. We want to dig more into the regions and the cultures and the past, the history, and incorporate that in our work. And while we incorporate that in our work, we then go deeper into how Africans look and how Africans dress and how Africans carry themselves, and then we learn from that, and then we absorb that, and then we become our own African gods, and not this nonsense that people try to tell us, you know, about Africans.